What's up, guys? My name is Breck. I was determined to get out of Chicago. You live in LA, you want to look a certain way. When I moved back, it just seemed like the perfect opportunity to create a run club. This is starting to really pick up steam to get in front of Nike with one injury after the other. Days before the marathon, and I could hardly do the 5. I woke up that morning and I had no idea if I was going to be able to run 1 mile or finish.
.2, a podcast powered by Drip.
Hello everyone, welcome to 26.2. My name is Karishma and I'm the founder and CEO of Drip. I'm here with a good friend named Breck, and we're here to talk about his running journey. Breck, would love for you to introduce yourself and share a bit about your background.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me. This is pretty dope. My name is Breck Mahoney. I am born and raised in Chicago. I'm on the south side in Hyde Park. I have been here my whole life, except for 10 years I spent in California, but have had a very active lifestyle from, I think, literally ever since I can remember. And that really honestly sets the tone for how I live my life still today. Moved back to Chicago after 10 years in California, went to college out there, and it was kind of funny when I was looking at schools. I've only applied to schools with warm weather. I was determined to get out of Chicago. So I went to school in Southern California, ended up being out there for a total of 10 years, and then 7 years ago, came back. My whole family's still here, so it's nice to be back around them. And I've had, a pretty decent career in advertising sales, now at a data and measurement startup company that's based here in Chicago.
Nice.
Getting married in 6 months.
Super exciting.
So I can't complain. Life is good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Big pivot from warm weather to Chicago weather, although today we're seeing a little different.
Today's nice. Bring the ankles out.
Yeah. That's funny. What was college like? Kind of rewinding a little bit. What was college like when you were out in Southern California? What did you study and what prompted the move back other than family?
Yeah, when I was looking at schools, I wanted a small school. I went to a very small high school in Hyde Park. I wanted a good business program, and I wanted the opportunity to play basketball. Yeah. And the University of Redlands provided all of that for me.
Oh, nice.
It was about an hour and a half outside of LA, so just about to the desert as if you were on your way to Palm Springs.
Oh, wow.
And it was great. Being born and raised in Hyde Park and then going to college in California, palm trees everywhere, amazing weather. Can't beat that. I'm wearing shorts all year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you play basketball in college?
I did.
Too?
So I played basketball there. I played all 4 years. It was an amazing Division III program, and I loved it. There were absolutely no regrets with that at all. Yeah. I'm very happy that I made that decision. A lot of my teammates across those 4 years are guys that I'm still friends with to this day.
That's awesome. What was that like though, even while you guys were playing too, and then even now? That's awesome that you guys built and maintained those relationships. Mm-hmm. Both playing basketball in college and then also just maintaining a normal life in college, and then just the academic part, because I guess that's also why we go to school, right? How was balancing all of that?
It was tough, to be honest. I think Division III athletes, if you're listening to this, you know that you're still going to class, you're still doing everything that everyone else is doing.
Yeah. No
matter if you're traveling for games, practices, whatever it might be. So you learn pretty quickly about how to manage your time, how to become efficient with your time.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's hard work. It's college basketball. So you're up early, you're staying up late, doing work, knowing the next morning you've got weights at 6 a.m. You don't really have time to complain. You have to do it.
Yeah. Do you think that the way that training was regimented for you, in college, were you able to maintain that as soon as you graduated?
I would say so. I was probably the definition of a late bloomer in high school. I lifted here and there just because we kind of had to, but I didn't really grow until I was 20, 21 years old. But in college, you know, you're definitely lifting, you're definitely putting in all that work, and you're creating this routine that just becomes your everyday life. And even though you're not necessarily competing for conference games or conference tournaments or conference championships or anything like that, but you got your intramurals and you got just like your men's leagues and things like that you're playing. Yeah. And you live in LA, you want to look a certain way, you want to be in a certain type of shape and all that stuff too. And so it really helped that, like, as I mentioned, a lot of those guys that were my teammates I lived with post college. Yeah. So we were the same age, we had the same lifestyle, we're getting our careers up and running while also trying to, wouldn't say like chase the dream, but like still having that desire and that competitive edge to want to be able to play sports, got into running. And so, that part definitely still, and honestly I think still today, is instilled in me.
Yeah, that's awesome too, because I feel like everyone has like a different journey, and sometimes you see people kind of drop off for a little bit after you graduate when you don't really have like someone telling you to do something or train in a certain way too. So it's awesome that you were able to like maintain that consistently throughout.
Because once you stop, it's hard to get it back.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it back, yeah.
Takes like 3 times more effort almost.
Right.
Talk to me about like early career too. So were you always in like sales and advertising? Is that how you started your career right out of college?
So right out of college, I graduated and I did probably what most people do. What do I want to do with my life? And I moved back to Chicago. Okay. For I think maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. Shipped my car back, everything, you name it. And then decided to go right back. Yeah. And I got my MBA. Nice. And so the same place I did undergrad, signed up for the MBA program there for the School of Business. Nice. And while I was helping out as an assistant coach in the basketball team, which was an interesting experience because I had just played with most of these guys. Yeah. And then the next year, I'm the one telling them to get online. That was a fun transition. But we actually won conference that year. So, oh, wow. My 1 year of coaching. There you go. We won the conference, and that's it. But on top of that, I was working at the Nike outlet store as well, just to get a little bit of money here and there. But yeah. Yeah. Were you... and I can't remember like when like Nike run clubs like really took off. Were you ever a part of any of like their endurance communities too? No. So it's funny, like you think about like this basketball collegiate player turned run captain. Yeah. It's hard to kind of pinpoint when that transition kind of took place. Like I've always enjoyed working out in groups and doing like community workouts and activities like that. And so at the time, I think especially in advertising sales, you're entertaining a lot. Yeah. And so whether that's happy hours, dinners, and all that stuff, but especially in LA, yoga classes, Soul Cycle became a hot thing. Healthier, entertaining. Exactly. And then like you're going on hikes and Runyon and things like that. And then at the same time, if people are familiar, in Santa Monica, they have the Santa Monica stairs. Yeah. Oh, my God. I've done those. Yeah, so They're rough. I thought I was at the end probably 5 times during it, and you're like, no, you just keep going up. Steep incline. And so one of my coworkers one year took me there, and it humbled the crap out of me. And then it just became a thing. And this is, when people were using Facebook statuses and all that stuff. Whereas, like, now you're doing Instagram stories or text messages and stuff. But we started doing, like, we had, like, a Thursday morning crew. And we were meeting there. In Santa Monica at, like, 6:30 in the morning. It's a combination of my guys that live with me, my roommates, my good friends, and, like, a couple clients, a couple coworkers. And we'd probably always have, like, 5 to 10 people. And we had a nice little, like, 5-loop circuit that we would do, like, push-ups at the top, pull-ups at the bottom. Whatever pace or speed you want to do it, that was what we did. 5 loops, like, up and down? Or just... Because how there was the 2 sets. Yeah. So, like, you go down 1 set, run to the other, come up, and you do that 5 times. Brutal. And then you start your day. Yeah. Best way to start your day, though. It's like you got the hardest 100%. Thing that's done out of the way. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then how long did you do that for, in terms of leading that?
I wouldn't even say like I was the one leading it, but I think it was one of those things where it just became like just a routine.
Yeah.
Like every now and then if you look at like your Facebook memories of the day or whatever, a couple of those would pop up and it would say like 6:15 tomorrow, Santa Monica Stairs.
Yeah.
And it helped because I lived with 3 guys that were like-minded like me.
Yeah.
So we were all just jumping in one car and heading up there. So there wasn't really that difficulty of like, oh, am I going to wake up tomorrow morning? But like we had the accountability literally right next door.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And now kind of like talk to me about the next stage when you move back to Chicago, and what endurance or kind of training, how that kind of changed too.
Yeah. I mean, so by the time I moved back to Chicago, I was already pretty much into running, but not seriously at all. It was just
casual
1 mile, 2 miles with my roommates. We lived a block or 2 from the Venice Boardwalk.
Oh, nice.
So, you can't go wrong out there either. And so we had a nice routine a couple days a week, like up to the Santa Monica Pier and back. Majority of the time in the mornings. Again, you see there's a trend here of being a morning person. But when I moved back, I lived in Hyde Park with my parents for a little bit. And we lived right off of 47th Street, right there by the lakefront. So it was super easy to pop over there in the mornings, get a couple miles in. And this is what I was doing on my own.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, she owns a gym in Hyde Park called The Space. Okay. And so I would run to the gym, work out, sometimes run back, sometimes walk back. It depends. But that was just a part of what I did. But at the time, I was not running in a group. I had no desire to run in a group.
Yeah, you're just working out.
This was just me. Like, I think that was when I kind of started to look at it, not necessarily as like a workout, but this was like my alone time. Yeah. That's when I think it started to become a little therapeutic.
Got it. That's awesome. It's always like so interesting to like learn about how people started. And I find that a big commonality is like everyone has something that prompts them individually to start running too. Yeah. And then along the way it becomes some sort of like community effort too, which you've done an incredible job of. And
thank you.
Would love to just kind of dive into how Run Too Hard started, learn more about the genesis of it too. And see kind of what you guys have planned upcoming as well.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of explain the origin story, it wasn't me that started it. It wasn't me, it wasn't Raymond. It was a couple friends of ours, Colton, his wife Aubrey, and then Ahmed, started this in the West Loop at a restaurant called 1111. And it was primarily just, a bunch of like-minded people that... like to hang out in the West Loop, have a few drinks, but also we're health conscious and like to work out. And so it just seemed like the perfect opportunity to create a run club, to get something special where we would meet and end at the restaurant and have a drink after.
Nice. And I take it this wasn't in the morning then.
This was not in the morning. The mornings with Run Too Hard were not introduced yet.
Yeah.
But it was a nice 6:30 in the evenings where we had a great route. That would go down Kinsey through River North and then back down the Riverwalk and then straight shot down Lake. And so at 6:30, especially in the summer,
beautiful.
It's very busy out there. And so, you'd have 2, 3, 5 people running, which didn't really cause too much of a commotion because it's just a couple people where people are already running anyway. But that was just because I loved that restaurant. I was there all the time. I liked the vibe, the people there, and I like to run as well. And so that was probably my like first introduction into like joining a run club. When I don't even know if he really knew that it was like a run club yet. Yeah. And I had no idea that if there were any other run clubs in the Chicago area. Yeah. And I didn't even think once about even looking to see if there were. Like this was just mine. This is what I did on Tuesdays, and that was it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And are the people that started it, are they still involved or kind of like...
The people that started it, a couple of them moved to the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
And then one of the other guys runs with us here and there as well. And so, like, you know, we never forget, like, where we came from and, like, where it started. You know, we always want to make sure that we're showing them love because they they got this going. And they're the ones that came up with the name. They're the ones that got it off the ground. And it was impacted by the pandemic, like most things. Because we would joke and say, I can't wait for there to be 30, 40 people to start showing up.
Yeah.
And that opportunity for it got cut short, at least at the time, because of the pandemic. And that's when a couple of them moved. And this is also where I met Raymond, who I lead the run club with. And it's funny, everyone thinks that we've known each other for like 10, 15 years or like grew up together. But no, we met at the bar, ran with each other a couple times here and there, and just became really good friends.
That's awesome. I definitely thought that, or I got that vibe the first time I met you guys. I'm like, these guys have definitely been friends for like 20 years or like 15 years.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where I wish I could sit on my phone and like scroll all the way up to see the pictures, but also just how the conversation started about trying to pick it back up. Like, we were both living now in the Humboldt Park, Bucktown area. And selfishly, we're thinking about, hey, maybe it's time we should bring the run club back. Yeah. Like, we should see if, they'd be cool if we kind of started it up again. Yeah. And it was a simple question about, hey, we got this coffee shop, Atmos Coffee, that I was going to every day. At the time when people were working from home 100% of the time.
Just to get out of the house.
This was the one time you were leaving the house
to go
grab coffee, coming right back home. And just became really cool with the owner, Antoine, there. Became really good friends with him. Yeah. And he was more than willing to allowing us to call that our home.
That's awesome.
Because selfishly, we wanted it to now be, in our neighborhood, close to home, convenient for us. Yeah. And now this is where, the morning part comes in. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be in the morning. Yeah. I've just always felt like, you talk about, that's such a great way to start the day. It's probably the one thing in your day that you can truly control. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I just think there's so much power in getting a workout in, especially with a group of people that are hitting the pavement together, getting miles in together, pushing one another before the sun comes up. Yeah. I absolutely love it. And a lot of other people, I guess, love it too. Yeah. As it's grown so nicely over the last couple of years since we've taken it over.
Yeah, that's awesome. I echo that sentiment a lot. I've always been a morning workout person or morning run person too. And I find if I don't work out or run in the morning, then my whole day is kind of thrown off too. You're just happier. You release those happy endorphins.
I agree.
And it's the great way to just kind of shake off the previous day, then start fresh.
Yeah, no, I agree. I won't lie. I messed up and I set my alarm for the wrong time this morning. Yeah. So I missed my workout.
That's okay.
But but you feel it for a little bit. Yeah. You wish that, you could go back in time just to make sure that you still got that workout in. But it's funny, my fiance now, she used to not be a morning person. Yeah. And now she is 100% a full-on morning person. Yeah, she's fully converted.
Do you guys run together? Is she also a part of the run group?
Yeah, she's a part of the run club. She runs with us here and there. She's all about her me time as well. And so if you're ever on the 606, she is up there every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's walking at least a 5K every morning up there.
Wow.
That's awesome. She's got her routine. And so I love to see it, especially on Tuesday mornings. If she's not coming to run with us, I know that she's on the 606 getting her walk in. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about your personal kind of running goals? How do you think about those? And how have those kind of evolved too? Especially post 2023 marathon.
Yeah. Well. I mean, there's phases to it. I think when we started the run club at Atmos Coffee a couple years ago, it was 2 to 6 people every week running together. And we were posting the same picture with the same caption the Sunday before. Yeah. I was never checking the the DMs to see if people were asking questions or anything. Like, it was just like, this is what it is. We weren't taking it seriously at all, because it was just like, there's just a bunch of friends or word of mouth that are running together once a week.
Yeah.
There's no liability talks or like, this is the route we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like a very casual thing where there were no communications about like, we want to do a marathon, or we want to do this 5K or this 10K or this speed project event. Like, there was never any talk about that. And then it's just, and then I feel like just one day, like, you just kind of feel like, okay, this is starting to really pick up steam.
Yeah.
We, we're blessed to get in front of Nike and get some visibility there and some support from them.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it kind of clicked to think like, okay, we're really onto something. We're not only creating a really great community here for people, but at the same time, like, we're all 23 plus, 23, 40. We've even got like some people in their a couple of people in their 50s, 60s that are running with us that have goals.
Yeah.
That are like, I want to do this 5K. I want to run it at this time. I want to run my first marathon. I want to do my first ultra. And so now it's become like, how do we continue to create an environment to help you check those boxes?
Yeah. And what does that kind of like look like? I know you also have like these Saturday runs that are a bit longer too. Did you, for the marathon that happened this year, or even the one that's happening next year, did you form like subgroups related to those as well?
Yeah, like it's a combination of creating the subgroups within the Run Too Hard family.
Yeah. Of
like, you obviously have to mix in other days outside of just our one community day that we were doing at the time. Whether that's speed days or just getting some just general time on feet days.
Yeah.
But really also tapping into the amazing run community that is Chicago.
Yeah.
Like other clubs that have track nights or other clubs that have speed nights, and like the fact that everybody is we're all friends. Like, we all hang out together, we all run together, and so being able to kind of mix and match where we're getting the work in creates, at the end of the day, come race day, you're ready.
Yeah.
And so it's especially for me, I think this first time around, your routine changes. You're not going out Friday nights.
Yeah.
You're in bed early. You're carb loading, knowing that you're up super early the next morning.
Yeah.
But you look over and you're training with 15, 20 people, especially this year that we're doing the marathon, and it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Versus
Makes it so much more enjoyable too.
Yeah. What was the marathon like for you this year? Talk to me about
the
your
marathon
story.
was so. To go back to last year, I was offered. Me and Raymond were offered bibs.
Okay.
And I said no.
For 2022.
For 2022.
Okay.
I said no. He said yes.
So he did it in 2022.
He did it in 22, and of course, and everyone was saying this as we were standing there on 18th Street cheering.
Yeah.
I said to at the time, she was my girlfriend, I said, I should have did this. I you feel the energy of the city, and you wish that you were out there.
Yeah.
And then going to this year, it was one of those things where it went from such an amazing training cycle to then now knowing that, okay, I've never done anything more than a half marathon. Every Saturday from here on out is uncharted territory for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I don't know how my body is going how it's going to respond to all of these miles. And I was just dealing with one injury after the other.
Oh, no. During training?
During training.
Okay.
With Achilles, calf, IT band, you name it, where I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to see everyone's Strava activity and all of this stuff. People are getting better, people are putting posts up, feeling great, feeling confident. And here I am having to stop and go here and there with my training to try to rest and to try to get some physical therapy to try to just get better.
Yeah.
And it was in this ongoing battle of, okay, we still have enough time. Maybe I need to shut it down for a few weeks.
Yeah.
but you know how hard that is.
Yeah.
And so it's
That's like not going to any run too hard runs.
And so there were times where I would go to the Tuesday morning runs and I would do the announcements and I'd watch everyone run away.
Oh,
and I would
that sounds so sad.
I was just like, I would just go inside and grab coffee and just hang out until they came back. Because I still enjoyed it and I felt like I needed to still be around it.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't able to run.
Yeah.
And so once we got to the marathon week, I was still in this, like, I don't even know what's going to happen with my IT band. And I did our Tuesday morning run 5 days before the marathon, and I could hardly do the 5K without feeling the pain of my IT band. And I'm like,
oh my gosh,
how am I going to do 26 miles in 5 days?
Oh no.
So shut it down, no running.
Okay.
Got, went to chiropractor, all the cold plunges you could think of, all the stretching, mobility things you could ever possibly imagine. I was doing them all. Sleeping as much as possible, hydrating out of my mind.
Yeah.
And it became such a great moment because one of my good friends that runs with us, he got a bib the week of.
Oh.
And he texted me and he said, I am literally, my only goal for this marathon is to get you across the finish line.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, shit, no pressure.
Yeah. Now you have to do it.
Like no pressure at all. And so, and I think I needed that. Like that was definitely extremely helpful. And like we went from having 5 people running the marathon to over 30 in 1 year.
Wow.
And so,
like all last minute bibs or people
no, this was just all the people that we were training with. When we started talking about goals, people all of a sudden wanted to run a marathon. We had never talked about it.
Yeah.
And so majority of the group was their first time, or maybe this was maybe their second one. But it was one of those things where I woke up that morning and I had no idea if I was going to be able to run 1 mile or finish.
Oh my gosh.
And I ran with my friend Alec and a couple other guys, Spencer and David. We did the first 16 miles together. And also, before I started, I told my fiance, I'm either going to call you at mile 2 to let you know that I'm going to walk the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or I'll be fine.
Okay.
Like, roll the dice.
Yeah.
16 miles in, feeling pretty good.
Okay.
I think that if I was healthy, I want to do a 4-hour flat.
Yeah.
I was at like 2:12.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
This is not bad for where
we were feeling,
and how I was feeling. And then all of a sudden, at mile 16, just like the IT band kicked in. Yeah. And it was stop and go the rest of the way. And Alec, I think by mile 20, I was ready to kill this guy. Because he was like super motivational. Like people around us, he's yelling at me, cursing at me. But like I needed it, but I also like was like, shut up.
Yeah, it's like I'm crying internally right now.
But it was definitely a battle. Our cheer section was at mile like 21 and a half, and that was amazing. Like
that's awesome.
My mom was there, my fiance was there, the whole run to our family. Had some friends that came in town. My sister, my aunt was in town for it. And that was such a cool moment.
Yeah.
But then I still have 5 more miles to get done. And then mile 23, and it's still just stop and go this whole time. Mile 23, my dad jumps in.
He like runs with you?
And he runs with me for like maybe a quarter mile or something. And I can show you the video. Him on one side, Alec on the other side, both talking to me.
Yeah.
And it definitely helped. Like it was so special. And so we crossed the finish line at 4:50 or 4 hours and 50 minutes.
That's awesome.
And I'm happy I got it done. Like I'm glad that I finished because then I was able to like take a necessary break.
Yeah.
To try to like heal and get better. But now I'm like, shit, I got to do it again. I need to do it healthy.
Yeah.
Like the competitive side of me is saying I need to figure it out. I need to like cut off 50 minutes. It's a lot of time. But like
it's doable.
I feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable. And so, but I think that, you learn so much about yourself.
So many thoughts on that too. I feel like I'm convinced like the best way to like know yourself is to like literally not even just train, but like complete like a full marathon.
Yeah.
Because of the mental component too. You go through like so many different phases, and I think like the energy in like Chicago is unmatched.
Yeah.
Like compared to all the other cities that I've done the race into. And that's so nice that like your dad literally hopped in and kind of ran with you. You saw the family too, and I'm sure just like having a parent almost like cheering you on. I don't know if it brought you back to like when you were in school or when you were growing up, like, you know, your parents like cheering you on during games.
It was a really good moment. Like, I think that we needed that. Like, you know, I think our relationship at the stage that it's at, like, needed that.
Yeah.
And it made it special, and it made it just a moment. And thank God we're like the most talented photographers and videographers in Chicago that we're friends with, that we're just happen to be right there and we're able to capture that.
That's awesome.
Because it's something that I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, we're all crazy. I'm like, I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. Is there a 2024 race?
Yeah, I mean, Chicago.
You're doing it again?
We're doing it again, and now is the time to really get back into the strength training and all that stuff, and really figure out like what the problem is and get to the root of it.
Yeah.
Fix it. And then, you know, once the training season comes around again, like, know what I should be doing to make sure that I'm ready and healthy come next October.
It's muscle memory, right? You did it once. You'll do it again, too. Just faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
just 50 minutes faster.
Yeah.
No big deal at all.
That's funny. Talk to me about like the speed run that you're doing, or speed race.
Speed project.
Speed project. I was close. Multiple speed runs, probably in training for it too. Yeah. So
that's again like I need to get healthy.
Yeah.
But no, we were accepted into the speed project. It's this unsanctioned run from Santa Monica to Vegas. Yeah. We've got a 15-person team.
All from Run Too Hard.
All from Run Too Hard.
That's awesome.
And it's just another opportunity for us to continue to build a bond and continue to form like a special relationship together, especially when you're in close quarters with them in like a van or an RV across the desert. Yeah. But it's also just like the next step, I think, of Run Too Hard continuing to like just find new ways to do stuff together.
Yeah.
And to set ourselves up for an opportunity to achieve another goal. Yeah. Like, you know, the marathons will always be here for sure, and like we hope that number continues to go up of people that are running it.
Yeah.
Whether it doesn't matter if it's just Chicago, but there are people that have the aspiration of like, I've never been overseas, I want to go do Berlin.
Yeah.
How can we help you do that?
Yeah.
And so it's this never-ending cycle now of continuing to create this and foster this environment that's all about just motivating and inspiring the next person.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love just even like seeing from social media how much you guys have grown and like the engagement.
Yeah.
All the stuff that you guys do, even with the other run clubs that you mentioned. I feel like I see a lot with like Tortugas and you guys recently too. And even in the last year, just seeing how much community you've built has been incredible too. So super amped to see how 2024.
Yes, it'll be a good year. And then like tomorrow, you know, I think that especially as runners, it's always about like, all right, what time are we running? When do I need to be there?
Yeah.
But it's nice to kind of take a moment, and like tomorrow, and we're doing like our second annual Run Club holiday party.
Nice. Where we met last year.
We met last year, yeah. To take a moment just to know that we are. I think I said it last year. I'm like, no, we are not running.
Yeah.
We are drinking.
Yeah.
But it's like, let's celebrate the miles, the achievements, the PRs, the medals, and I think most importantly, just like the friendships that people have made in the last year. And we hope to just really continue to build on that, because I think it's one of those things where it's hard to sometimes to take a step back and just like really lean into the moment and like enjoy it.
Yeah, no, for sure. So really excited. We'll try to pop in tomorrow.
Please do.
As well. I guess what's the moonshot overall for you? Running wise, fitness wise?
It's running wise is for sure to complete a marathon healthy.
Yeah.
Continuing to build and grow the brand. Like, I think we've got like some aspirations of it not just being worn by runners, but just like people in general, and just creating more of like this cultural thing. And so, we'll definitely see a lot more merch and branding and stuff like that, and kind of like finding cool ways to get creative with the brand. And so, it's like tomorrow it's like party too hard and like all these things, and it's just like, how do we continue to build on stuff like that and have fun with it at the end of the day? Like, you want to have fun, you want to enjoy it, and like, it's not where I'm making money, but like it is 100% where the passion is. And it's not even really about the running. Like, I love hearing the stories about, hey, I just moved to Chicago, I saw you guys online,
can I come?
And then like, can I come? And then next thing you know, they've been running with us for a couple months, and they're like going on trips with people that they met at the run club.
Oh,
like,
that's
I love that. Like, when that stuff starts to happen, and we've got like 10 plus people from the run club coming to the wedding in Australia. It's like
awesome.
Little things like that. When that starts to happen and people start to become damn near family, you know that you're doing something right.
Yeah. I love that, like, in all aspects.
Yeah. So it's good. Good things coming. We're going to get you out there for a run with us soon.
I know. This year just flew by.
Yeah.
Maybe next week,
Hey.
Before the year ends.
Hey.
I'll say that.
We're going strong. We're doing, like, we've been leaning into like the every damn Tuesday slogan or mantra, and we are batting 1,000 right now.
Okay.
So we've only got a couple more Tuesdays left.
Yeah.
To close out the year. So it's like no pressure.
Yeah.
Everyone's worried about the day after Christmas.
Oh gosh.
People will be traveling. People will be with family. But I will be there.
You'll be there.
I will 100% be there. We have to. That's the last one of the year.
Yeah. And then the second one is, I think, January 2nd, or is that how the year starts too?
Yeah. So we just we close out the year and then we start the streak over again, or just keep the same one going.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay. I will make it to a run too hard.
There we go. You heard it.
Awesome. Well, this was so fun. Thank you for taking the time. And
I appreciate you having
me.
Thank you. This was great.
Learn more about Drip at dripco.us and follow us on Instagram at dripwearable. We'll be back soon with a brand new episode.